Welcome to the Milltown Sports Show.
This is Rhonda Bird with Milltown Sports Incorporated, and today we're with our band director at Pisgah High School, Mr. Saunders. Mr. Saunders, good to have you aboard Milltown Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I think that band don't get a lot of recognition. Me being part of the band years ago at Pisgah, so we decided that we're going to cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
We mean everything. Yeah. So tell the folks out in the Pisgah Nation a little bit about yourself, how you come to Pisgah.
So I am a graduate of Marshall University. I was college and university. I was there for the transition. I've always loved Western North Carolina since I came through Mars Hill, so I've been around the area. I ended up the year before I was here in Rutherford County. And some of my best friends who work at the Inca Band also worked for Mr. Connor back when he was at Bethel. Mm-hmm. And he needed a high school band director and called around and just happened to call one of my old buddies and said, "There's a guy at a middle school band in Rutherford County who would love to probably get in the high school band again." And so went through the interview process with Mr. Connor and the team, and I feel like this is a nice fit from where I grew up. I grew up in Gaston County in Dallas, North Carolina. And textiles was a big thing where I grew up, just like the Milltown culture here. And when everything moved overseas, it sort of kind of became the same thing that it almost is here now. Yeah. So I just felt like this is an extension of my home, just with a lot nicer weather.
A lot nicer weather. So we know that you had a big band last year. The your size keeps growing year in, year in. I get to watch the halftime shows from the box and very impressed. Talk about this year's band.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know it's probably not going to be on the photo, but the cool thing is we have our band sort of kind of senior plaques every year, and in the far upper right up there's like 32 kids up there, and it was a rebuilding year from when COVID happened and when I stepped in. But as you can see, as the photos come through, we just get bigger and bigger. Last year was probably our biggest senior class we've had in a long time. It was 20 seniors in the band. I think we had just about more than anybody else in the fall, football, cheer, and Georgia C soccer and all those guys. So we lost a lot. So we were worried we were going to go down in size when you lose that much senior leadership. But we have some great feeders. Mr. Trivet over at Bethel, and we had Miss Lawrence over at Canton, and they sent up a lot of kids. So we only have 9 seniors this year, but we have like 32 first-year marchers. So even though we lost a lot of older kids, we've made up with a lot of younger kids to go with it. So we've kept the size, but we're just a lot younger this year, which is cool to get these kids into the process and know that the band's only going to get bigger now that a smaller group's going to leave, and then we're going to have a solid foundation for years to come.
Really, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I know one thing we talk about in marching band is competitions. Mm-hmm. How many competitions you planning on taking the band to this year?
So here's the cool part. We're doing 3. We always do 4. Our 4th one this year is we're bringing back hosting a competition here at Pisgah that used to happen a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I think it was called the Papertown Classic, where bands from all over would come compete at Pisgah. We're going to do the same thing this year. That'll be on October 3rd. It'll be the first Saturday of October. Right now we have 9 bands coming to compete, and we'll be the exhibition band. We'll probably get a few more come in. We'll have Inca competition the last Saturday of September. Inca Land of the Sky at Inca High School. Ours at Pisgah on October 3rd, the first Saturday of October. We'll have a bye week, where a weekend that we won't compete that weekend, and then we'll finish the last 2 weekends of October. That third weekend of October will be at Chase High School at the Tournament of Bands, and then North Henderson High School at the Night Tournament of Bands. So we have 3 that we're competing in and 1 that we're hosting.
Right.
Yeah.
So talk about fundraising for your band. I know that's a big issue. I know we do our drawdown for the athletic department, but the band's totally separate. So talk about some fundraising issues that you got coming up.
So we just are working on announcing with our booster organization like a sponsorship program with the band, like in tiers if people would like to donate. So you can check that out on our Instagram or our Facebook. To see about that. Our biggest fundraisers we typically do every year is we sell citrus. Band fruit is, since I've ever been in band, bands always sell the big boxes of oranges or navels or citrus, things like that. Mm-hmm. That'll happen in the fall. We also get the Away concession stand, which is just a big help thanks to our admin and our athletic director for letting the bands facilitate that. It's Pisgah Tuscola year at Pisgah, and it's a big revenue source for us to get stuff for kids. We also, in the spring, we sell strawberries, and everybody talks about how much they love the band Strawberries. So our other big fundraiser is with help with the Canton Lions Club and the Webbs, Michael and Jackie Webb, they let us help the Lions Club, and we go to the Civic Center and volunteer there, and we make money off the tips at concerts and comedy events and things like that. Those are our biggest ones that we have this year. And eventually, we're going to announce a donation drive for our kids. Every 2 years, we take the band to Disney World and let them march through the Magic Kingdom, and the choir performs in Hollywood Studios. And so, at some point, we're going to get out for donations to help kids be able to afford to go.
Right,
It's not cheap to go to the happiest place on
it's
earth.
Not.
So we're going to be working on a lot of the fundraising money this year. Will go toward the kids and helping them, but like the concession stand and the Civic Center, those kind of things will be going toward helping make sure that we keep instruments in the kids' hands that are repaired and the best equipment possible for the kids that way they're playing.
Well, let's talk about some of your band students. You were telling me earlier you got a couple of All-States.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
This past year was probably our highest year ever of all district kids. So the way that it works for the band world is sometimes there's an all-county band, and then the next thing up is a group of counties called a district, and then we have the group of districts called all state. We don't have all county band here because we only have 2 high schools,
Yeah.
but we compete in all district every year, which is every county from Mitchell County to Rutherford County over to Cherokee County. And so these are the best kids in that district. We had 14 kids make the all district band last year, and for Pisgah, I haven't went as far back into the past to see how many that takes, but 14 is the biggest number I can find in the past 20 years of kids making it. If you're a high enough chair in the district, then you're eligible to trot for the all-state band. And then this past year, we had our 2 rock star kids. Cadence Edwards made it on clarinet for her 4th year in a row. She's made it in 6th grade, in 7th grade, 8th grade, and now 9th grade on the clarinet. And then we had Red Huffstetler. He has been first chair both years of high school and made second chair 8th grade and middle school. So I feel like Pisgah is representing itself very well within our community and outside of our community against other bands in our area, as well as representing ourselves across the state with these amazing kids and the community that pushes them.
Well, let's talk about this year's theme. Every year we have a new theme, and it's choreography and putting everything together. Talk about this year's theme.
So this year's show is entitled Neverland. You're going to hear a lot of essence of the movie that comes with it. But I didn't want it to be like what I would call cheeky, to where you're like, oh, there's Tinkerbell and there's Peter Pan and stuff like that. So we took these musical concepts from the Neverland theme, and the show's really going to be about time itself. Because if you think about the children and the lost boys who were in Neverland, you think about how they're never supposed to grow up, they're never supposed to grow old, they get to stay in this idea forever. So as the show starts, you're going to see this idea of the storybook starting. The kids are going to be asleep on the field, and they'll wake from their dream. And then we're going to take you through this big hit. We're going to have a vocalist singing with the band at the beginning, one of our awesome seniors, Emily Parrish. And she's going to be singing Lost Boy by Ruth B. And that's going to be our opening hit with the band. So we're kind of starting this adventure, and where are we going? And so once we get through that, we got some original music written by our music arranger, Chris Creswell, out of Florida. And we're going to be going to Neverland in this story, and going into this idea of where time stands still. From there, we're going to have a duet of sorts with our lead mellophone player, Kate Ningle, and our lead trumpet player, Owen Cooper, where we're going to go and play the Queen song, Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen. I know that Queen is a very popular band, and we found this duet and this melodic idea that fit. And so at this point on the field, time's going to stop. It gets the audience to ask the question, do you want to live forever? If you could stop the moment right now, would you do it? Because that's the same thing that the Lost Boys get asked when they're there, and they always stay the same age, they never grow up. And so then time starts to get a little chaotic. The drums come out, we get to make these this different amount of time, and time starts to get jostled and chaotic, and then our villain shows up. And the villain in all sense of Peter Pan is, you're going to know, is Captain Hook. You won't necessarily see him on the field, but you're definitely going to see a villain arise. In the I think it's the Hook version of the Peter Pan movie with Robin Williams, the villain tries to keep the kids, right? And you never get to leave. You're going to stay, and you're going to do this thing forever. And we took that idea from that version of the Peter Pan universe, and the villain's going to try to keep everyone. And so the villain's going to have a certain end to himself. You're going to see on the field. I guess I won't spoil the whole thing, but I guess I can tell you is as you watch the Peter Pan original, time is always the essence that goes through, and there's a certain creature in the movies that controls time, and he has a name, and if you know the Peter Pan universe, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And so that's how the story is going to come to the end, of how time will resolve, and the children will get to take their journey based on how that time resolves. So Peter Pan-esque, but getting to ask yourself that question of that youth spirit that you have, and how you want to stay in that moment. And that's what we want. We want you to be in that moment with us as time stops, and then as time goes to be chaotic.
That's a great sounding halftime show. I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to see it.
Absolutely.
How much are we going to get to see the first game?
First game, so we actually just finished the opening hit. So we just got through The Lost Boys by Ruth B. You'll more than likely get us, our hope is to get through the second movement where we're entering Neverland. My goal is always in the first month of being in school, the whole show is done. So that first home game will be the first week of school. You're going to see the first two movements, which is The Lost Boys by Ruth B. And then you will see the Chris Creswell stuff about Neverland. The stuff still to come, as I mentioned, is the Queen song, Who Wants to Live Forever. And for all my hard rock fans, the show ends with Enter the Sandman by Metallica.
Oh, man, that's going to be great. That's my favorite song, Enter the Sandman.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate this, giving you time to talk to the Pisgah Nation about
Absolutely.
your show and everything. And we'll try to cover some highlights of your show and put it on our website so that the fans that can't get there can see some bits and pieces of it.
Wonderful. And you guys can also follow us on our social media, Pisgah HS Band on Instagram, or Pisgah High School Bands on Facebook. If you look for the red logo with the black paw in it, that's our same one on Facebook and Instagram. We try to post everything about what our great kids are doing with, as you said, district and all state. We also post our competition results. We've got things about band camp going on right now that we post to our community. That way you can just see what the kids are up to, because, you know, marching 75, 76 kids, somebody goes to church with a band kid, or they're in their family, or they live right down the street. Everybody knows somebody in the band. And so, you know, it's just good for everybody to be able to see that. So we do our best with our social media as well, and we really appreciate your support.
Mostly in the small community we have, everybody knows everybody. So,
Absolutely.
And look, folks, if you're out there and you really want to help Pisgah High School Band, like he said, follow them on Facebook, find out their donations, their tier program. You know, support them, because it does take a lot of money. And I know, because I was in the band years ago, and it takes a lot of money to send them to all these competitions and to go to all these events and equipment and everything. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Absolutely. And so, you know, one of the cool things I get a chance to bring up yet is this coming year, we're in aspects of buying a new tractor trailer to haul the band equipment around. And so the Caruso Endowment gave us a grant to help us do that. And we've been fundraising nonstop. It's going to cost us about $20,000 to get this thing up and running. There'll be some other repairs along the way, we know it. But we got a big grant from the Caruso Endowment. Pat and Zeb said they wanted us to have the nicest trailer around, and so that's what we're getting. We've got a dad in the coming weeks going to go get it, and then we've got a local band guy from the other side. His name's Jimmy Crocker.
Yeah,
he's
I know
gonna
Jimmy.
He's going to help us put the band shelves in there, and so hopefully in the next upcoming month or two, you're going to see the band rocking a new trailer to all their football games and competitions and stuff like that. It should be a cool new look for the band and give us a way to transport everything safely and more effectively.
And that puts Pisgah just a little bit higher on the pole, and everybody can recognize the big Power P whenever you see it pull up at the football
Absolutely.
field.
It's a power play a little bit. You know what I mean? When you
Hey,
you see a band come in and there's their tractor trailer, there's a sense of having that ability level when you see that kind of thing come in.
But it's a lot easier to carry the equipment, the uniforms, and everything else on the
Absolutely.
tractor trailer, because when I was in band, we used to put them in the buses, activity buses.
We do that too.
And
Absolutely.
our uniforms would get wrinkled, and then we'd have to go through inspection and competition, and we're all just sitting there trying to.
We take 2 buses. We usually take 2 or 3 trailers. We've had to rent a Penske truck or a U-Haul just to get everything from point A to point B. For football games, we have 2 trailers. We usually have to take 2 trips down and back. This will just make everything so much easier. It's like everything goes here, and then we can let everything clear out, and then we can move it back up, and then have the system of loading and unloading. So you're right. It'll make a better travel for the kids, not to be bulked up with all the equipment, and then give everything a safe travel to there and back.
folks, you heard it here from Mr. Sanders. It's been an honor to be here with you,
Thank you so much.
and it's really a long time since I've been in the band room, and I got to wonder where all our trophies are from when I was in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is Rhonda Bird with Milltown Sports. Thank you for listening.